Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. We are here to talk about Wolves' first signing ahead of the 25-26 season. Fer Lopez has joined the club on a 5-year deal from Celta Vigo. As always, in today's video, I'll be giving you all the details about how the deal went down, a little bit more about the player as well. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel as we are approaching 20,000 subscribers, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about this signing. But yes, it was brilliant to see the official confirmation of Lopez's signing today. Pictures and videos of him at Compton as he completed his medical a couple of days ago. But it's actually moved fairly quickly, I think. The initial interest in Lopez was actually only reported this time last week, last Friday afternoon. As far as I'm aware, the original interest was reported by Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook, who said Wolves had an interest in the player. And then by Saturday afternoon, some of the top-end journalists had jumped on it to say that personal terms between both parties were agreed, obviously with the clubs needing to find an agreement. And then by Sunday, we saw that agreement originally reported around that €25 million mark as a full package, including add-ons. We know now it's going to be around £19.5 million on a 5-year contract as well. His medical was passed a couple of days ago. We were just waiting for that official confirmation, as I said on an update video on the last video that I did. Really interesting signing, this one. I mean, I'll obviously flag up different quotes and a little bit more about the player on the screen. As we know, he's an attacking midfielder, an extremely talented player, left-footed. Wolves have put on their website a natural fit for Vitor Pereira's system. And I know it's sort of not been said yet, well, it has been said, sorry, that he isn't a direct replacement for Cunha, but I think he will bring, maybe not this year, but in the next couple of years, if he sort of flourishes into the player that people are expecting him to flourish into, I think he's going to have a lot of the qualities that Matheus Cunha currently has. I think he's an extremely inexperienced player. There's no doubt about that. Wolves have said that they have been watching him and keeping an eye on him since him playing for the Celta B team, and the Spanish coordinators over in Spain keeping a close eye on him, especially as he broke into the first team there in Spain. Obviously, Celta Vigo fans are really frustrated and upset about this deal. They feel, I mean, you can see it on the social media, on the comments on the Wolves, especially on their Twitter announcement. They feel that he's jumped and gone for the money and so on. And Fer Lopez had to speak to the media in Spain earlier on this week, basically just to say, I've not pushed for this move. You know, he wants to join Wolves, no doubt about it, but he hasn't knocked on Celta's door and says, I want to leave now. You know, I think this is a move that is perfect for all parties, really. And Wolves jumped on the fact that it was a release clause that was only in place until the end of the month. If we waited till next month to get this deal over the line, Fer Lopez's release clause would have shot up to €40 million and wouldn't have looked a good deal, to be completely honest. There were whispers and rumours a few days ago as well about it potentially being a loan deal with an obligation to buy, similar to the Jorgen Strand-Larsen deal that we completed this time last year, but it wasn't to be. It is going to be a pure permanent deal on a 5-year contract. Before we move on to more details about the player and his playing quality and so on, I did mention on my last video about Fer Lopez actually spending a little bit of time in England as well. I think this is such an intriguing story and an intriguing part of the career and what could be a fantastic career for this young player. I left a link for it. It was from a Sky Sports article by Adam Bate in my last video, and I'll make sure I leave it in the description of today's video if you want to take a little bit more time to talk about it. But when he was 14 years of age, Fer Lopez moved to England and he studied at a school in Suffolk. He trained at a non-league club called Bacton United 89 and was training alongside grown men at the age of just 14. And it was said that his move to England was to provide Lopez with new experiences and help him with his language skills. And I think you can see, if you watch his interview on the Wolves social media channels, speaks really good and clear English, in my opinion, so far, which I think is obviously a massive plus for Wolves, that a player can just come to the country, speak fluently English as well, which is a big plus. Ryan Owens, who was a coach at Bacton at the time, he said that Fer Lopez was different gravy. and a completely different level to what he'd ever seen before in a player. The plan was also for him to train at Norwich City twice a week. You can see him pictured here in a Norwich training kit. This was allowing him to keep his fitness levels up, as he was still playing for Celta Vigo at the time in their academy. But Norwich had actually said he was too small. So I think that says a lot about British football. I've heard that a lot of times from English teams. I think it's coming away from that a little bit more, but over the last sort of 5 to 10 years, you did hear that a lot from academies. But obviously he's grown up with the Celta Vigo academy, although he didn't play a first team official friendly with Jorgen Strand Larsen. He has struck up a friendship with Wolves Norwegian forward as well. They were seen on holiday, which I showed you guys last week as well. 2 images from their break in Greece. And I think this is fantastic as well. It's a real big help that you've got someone like Jorgen Strand Larsen, who's already spent 12 months at the club and in Wolverhampton, to help a young man settle in, not been exposed to huge amounts of first team football, so a new environment may be a little bit daunting to him, although at the young age of 14 already spent time in England as well, which will hopefully help him in the long term at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's have a look at some of the comments that Fer made on his signing at Wolves. He says, it's an amazing opportunity for my career to play in the Premier League, and I'm very happy. The club told me, and Vittel told me, they thought I was a good fit for the squad. When it's a club like this, you have very little to think about. It's true, it was very hard to leave my boyhood club, but I was very pleased to come here and play in with La Liga, I think, the best league in the world. He's described himself as a player that likes to play from the right-hand side because he's left-footed in between lines, and when he gets the ball, I try to be as vertical as possible, to drive with the ball, look for a final pass, and also shoot so I could chip in with goals. For me, the important thing is to create things, to create shots, to create passes, and try to create goals. And I showed a screenshot on the last video as well in terms of some of the percentiles. Because of his limited minutes, some of these maybe a little bit pear-shaped, but the bottom 2 really are what I like. And in terms of through balls completed, being in one of the top percentiles in the whole of La Liga per 90 is a really intriguing and really excited prospect. I think if you've got that creativity, which look at times I think Wolves lacked a little bit last season, under Vittel it did improve, but obviously there can be dry spells throughout games, and when you have that little spark of creativity, a player that can create a chance out of nothing, I think that is a huge bonus for Wolves. Fer Lopez also went on to make comments about his conversations with Jorgen Strand Larsen. Like I said, they were on holiday together, but Jorgen has said to Fer Lopez that he told me that to play in the Premier League and with a team like Wolves, it's amazing, that the fans were incredible and they had a great year last year. He told me he had one of the best seasons in his life, so he told me that I should come, that with the gaffer and all the teammates, the style of play was going to be very good. We're going to play good football, attractive football, and I think I can fit in there. And that's brilliant to hear. I'm hoping that we do play good football and attractive football next season. I think some fans at the moment, yes, it's still a little bit quiet in the transfer market, but I think in the next 10 days or so, when it gets into July and the players start to return, you might see things ramp up a little bit. But this bodes well, and I'm really hoping that is the case. I also spoke to Mundo Celeste, which is a Celta Vigo fan page, about this signing to get a little bit more insight on the player as well. He said that Fer Lopez's best position, in his opinion, is right wing. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. His qualities are primarily tactical prowess and magic with the ball. Last season, he acknowledged that he struggled to last the full 90 minutes. He has goals, but he has to keep up with the pace. He also has the ability to make the final pass. I asked him in terms of experience, does he think he's ready for the Premier League as well? He believes that he's too young for the Premier League right now and that he needed another year at Celta to establish himself and be able to aspire to make the leap. He's good, but he'll have to adapt to a physical Premier League. This is what I sort of mentioned as well on a video, or a couple of videos ago, in terms of making the move probably before you should make the move. And in some senses, this doesn't work and it is a gamble. But these are the gambles that I think Wolves need to start taking a little bit more. I think, for argument's sake, Fer Lopez, I have no doubt, with the way he's been hyped up, especially by Celta Vigo fans, if he started the season at Celta and had a really successful campaign, because I actually finished the season okay, had a successful campaign, I have no doubt, with his release clause being up to 40 million, that he may have signed a new contract to up that release clause. He could have been a 35, 40, 45, 50 million pound player. So yes, although maybe he's not ready to jump straight into the Wolves first team and play 90 minutes every week, I think if we could bed him in slowly but surely, we may well reap the benefits for him long term. And then, of course, I asked about the fans and the fans' reaction and why it was the case that they were so negative almost towards the sale of Fer Lopez. And he said the fans are upset because Fer Lopez said that even having Mendes as an agent wouldn't have any influence, and that he wanted to fulfill his dream of playing for Celta. Furthermore, the club president said there was no need to sell. The fans aren't happy with the transfer fee because the buyout clause rose to 40 million euros as of July the 1st, and they're criticising him for waiting a few weeks. Although 25 million for a player just starting out in the first division is about right. So then, there we go. Hopefully you guys have learned a little bit more about Fer Lopez. I am really excited to see him. Of course, he's going to be there with the squad from the start of pre-season. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to catch him. We've got the game at Molineux. We've got the game over in Girona. We play Stoke away. A game against RC Lens from France has been confirmed today at Warsaw as well. So lots of opportunities to see him play, and hopefully for just under £20 million, we've got ourselves a really tidy, talented player who, yes, we may have to take a little bit of time for, maybe a raw and a rough gem, but hopefully we can see Fer Lopez become a favourite at Wolves in the next couple of years. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next video.